In the wild world of modern collectibles, a brand called PiggyBanx has just absolutely exploded onto the scene. We're talking a frenzy of demand, sky-high prices, and a whole lot of controversy. So is this the future of collecting, or is it something else entirely? Okay, let's get into it.
To really wrap your head around the stakes here, we have to start with this number, $99,900. Yep, that was the actual sale price for a single PiggyBanx piece called the Jump Mandalorian. It's a figure that's so jaw-dropping it just immediately makes you ask, what on earth is going on here?
And look, that nearly $100,000 sale, that was no fluke. There's a very clear pattern here of 5- and even 6-figure sales on the secondary market. We're talking Formula One, the NFL. These pieces are commanding prices that rival some of the most established collectibles out there. And all this raises a pretty crucial question.
As the publication Only Greats put it so well, have they solidified their place? Or is this just a passing fad? That's the question we are going to break down. And to find the answer, we first have to understand the machine that's driving these insane prices.
It all starts with what we can call the PiggyBanx hype machine. And trust me, none of this is happening by accident. It is an absolute masterclass in how to manufacture exclusivity.
So here's their playbook, right? They started up in 2022 out in Southern California, and they're very specific. They sell artwork, not cards. They feature all these massive pop culture icons, think Star Wars, Marvel, you name it. But here's the key. The print runs are incredibly low, often under 50 copies total. Everything shows up in this luxurious case, sometimes with white gloves to make it feel super premium, and you can't just buy one. You have to win a lottery-style drop on Instagram. This whole production is designed to create maximum hype and this feeling of elite access. But there's a problem.
And this is where we start to see the cracks in the facade. It's a story of art, hype, and, well, some pretty stunning hypocrisy.
So this brings us to a huge dilemma. PiggyBanx claims it's all about creating premium custom artwork. The reality, though, they're using intellectual property from massive brands like Disney and Nintendo, and it really looks like they're doing it without a license. By calling their stuff art and selling it through these lotteries instead of a normal store, they're operating in a legal gray area, maybe trying to duck claims of IP infringement. And this whole strategy, it came to a head in a very public way.
So this parody account called PiggyBanx pops up on Instagram. It was just satirizing the brand's whole vibe, cheekily changing their one-of-one label to one of many to poke fun at their style. You know, classic parody. But PiggyBanx did not find it funny.
And here's where it gets truly wild. PiggyBanx sent a cease and desist letter to the parody artist accusing them of IP infringement. As the commentator Dan the Cardman put it, this is beyond peak hypocrisy. A brand built on using other people's characters was now threatening legal action against someone parodying their brand. But you know, this public drama was really just hiding something much more systematic going on behind the scenes.
Okay, let's get to the biggest revelation of all, the secret scoring system. This is the real engine behind all the hype.
I mean, just think about it. You've got thousands of people clamoring to buy a product with a print run of less than 50. How does PiggyBanx actually choose the winners? Is it really a random lottery?
The answer is not at all. It's not random, not even close. The proof came from their own leaked code, which was briefly public on a GitHub page. It revealed this internal tool they built called the Collector Property Evaluator. And that code shows exactly how they select their customers.
At its heart, the tool uses a technology called an Automated Valuation Model, or AVM. You see this stuff in real estate all the time. It's a system that automatically determines the value of a property by pulling from public databases. Well, PiggyBanx adapted this technology, not for houses, but for people.
So here's how their little machine works. First, they upload a list of all the potential buyers from an Instagram drop. The system then uses a real estate API called Rentcast to look up the home address of every single person on that list. Then it gives each person a wealth score based on their estimated property value. And finally, it automatically sorts the entire list, pushing the people with the highest property values right to the very top.
And this is not a guess. The code is incredibly specific. It contains a hard-coded number to identify their perfect customer. To be labeled a priority collector, a person needs to have an estimated property value of over $1.5 million. So yeah, so much for a random lottery.
So, with the public hypocrisy and the secret data mining all out and open, let's just step back and try to place this whole phenomenon in a broader context. Are we just looking at a modern-day tulip mania here?
I mean, history is filled with speculative bubbles like this. Back in 1637, tulip mania saw prices for a single bulb cost more than a worker's annual salary tenfold before it all collapsed. And more recently, in 2021, Topps Project 2020 cards completely crashed when the market got flooded. This leaves a huge open question for PiggyBanx. But they learned a crucial lesson from Topps' failure. See, Topps used a print-to-demand model, which created a totally oversaturated market that just killed resale value. PiggyBanx, on the other hand, maintains this ruthless, artificial scarcity with its tiny print runs. By controlling the supply, they've kept those prices inflated, at least for now.
All of this just points to the classic hallmarks of a modern hype market. You've got a pump-and-dump mentality, a focus on flipping for quick profit instead of collecting, and a community that's been described as having a cult mentality, where any criticism is not welcome. The value is being driven almost entirely by the scarcity that they themselves manufactured.
So we really have to end with this thought. The high prices aren't just about art or hype. They're propped up by a system that secretly profiles its customers' wealth to make sure the products land in the hands of people who can fuel that high-end secondary market. Which leads us to one final question. When a collectible's value is built on secret data, are you the collector or are you the product?